Hello everybody and welcome back to another video where I want to briefly explain how you can spot differences between a fake or a reproduction German breadbag and an original one from the Second World War. Both of the breadbags I have here is original. I unfortunately don't have any replica pouches, but I have a lot of reference photos that I will bring up on the screens for you to understand a bit better what I'm talking about. So, one of the most common ways to spot these replica pouches is by flashing a UV light on the canvas or the fabric. On replica pouches, there should be shining a light back, or reflecting a light it's called, when you use these UV lights. However, it is not on every replica pouch that it shines back on. It's only on the replica pouches that uses a specific type of material. And of course, these original pouches does not, use that material, and it does not reflect back on the UV light. Another way to spot if it's a fake one is by holding it and feeling, does it feel stiff, does it feel heavy, and so on. The replica pouches uses a very thin type of fabric, and it feels very smooth. In terms of looking at the stitching, the stitching on these pouches should be made of cotton, and by age it should look very dull and a bit yellowish, as you can see. Another way to spot if you have a fake or a replica breadbag is by looking at the leather. Is the leather old and stiff, and does it have any cracks in it? If you said yes to all of these things, or two of them at least, then that's a pretty good sign. These breadbags also have these so-called D-rings and belt loops and buttons. All of these things can vary a lot from breadbag to breadbag, and as some of you might already see, there's a little difference from these two pouches. The main difference is the color. On the early breadbag example, a lot of these belt loops were made of aluminium or steel. Mine is a steel example, and the one I have on the mid to late war pouch is also steel, but this one is colored. This one is just the raw material, and the same goes with the belt loops. The buttons, it's right there, is, as far as I know, pretty much the same. Anyways, my whole point of talking about these belt loops and such is that if you have a replica one, you should look at the shininess of these. This one looks pretty shiny as the light is pretty annoying, but trust me, in real life it's more roughly presented in the way it looks to me. The replica ones are very shiny and it looks almost like plastic. And the welding on these original ones are perfect, and the replica ones you can a lot of the time see where it was welded. In terms of stamping, these breadbags were always stamped, as far as I know. I don't really remember where the stamp is on this one, but it does have a stamp. On the mid to late war breadbag example, the stamp is right here. It's what you call an RBNR number, which is pretty normal for mid to late war equipments. These stamps are made of ink, and they should depict the year sometimes, the maker, and if you have an RBNR number like me, it should have a series of numbers that you can Google or look up in a reference book. Replica pouches sometimes doesn't have a stamp, and if it does have a stamp, it's a lot of times brand new, you know. It looks brand new and it's not synced into the fabric as this one is. You can clearly see it's pretty old. A bit more on the leather is the stress points. You know, on these belt loops, the belt goes through and it carries a lot of heavy things. So a lot of the stress goes on the top right here. And as you can see, it's formed by the belt and it's pretty worn on the top right here. That's also pretty good. That means it has been used a lot. It's a bit harder to see on the fabric right here, but you could take a look at these. You know, you can see that a strap has been going through these. And if you take a look inside right here, this one is a better example. You can see where the button has been going through the leather a lot of the times right here. And one last step I would like to say or tip is, as the K98K pouch I made a video on earlier, and that is the smell. If it smells old and like a barn, or in general just old fabric and leather, that's pretty good. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I use. Yeah, if you have any other things you would like for me to point out, please let me know, as the bread bags are not really my strongest point. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video.